Welcome to the Sleepy G Show. I'm the host with the most. My name is Gomez, and tonight, like any other night, but for me, this is very, very special. Why? Because today, on March 8th, it is Women's International Day. But the special guest I have is a singer, a songwriter, a producer, Kenny J. Sorry if I stuttered because I'm excited about this. And we're releasing his new hit single, You're a Woman.
You're a woman.
Kenny, how are you today, man?
Man, I'm great. It's so good to be here on this tremendous day celebrating women's empowerment and on your show, I might add, man. So dope.
Yes, it is
Yeah.
very dope because let me tell you, my wife is very special to me, very
Mhm.
powerful woman.
Yeah.
She is a teacher in Bergen County and she
Mhm.
works with special need kids. And let me tell you, it takes a
Ah,
special woman to do that. Any
my
woman,
wife did that.
and okay, God bless her, because now that's
Yeah.
even,
Yeah.
that's
Ask the
something. It's
vigorous.
not
Yeah,
easy.
absolutely.
It's
Yep.
huge. And
Mhm.
my wife and her coworkers who do this, God bless
Mhm.
them, because
Absolutely.
it takes a time and a patience that some people don't realize, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's a great thing. And now, Kenny, I gotta say, I heard the song, man,
Uh-huh.
phenomenal. And first of all,
Dope.
I do gotta thank for Kicking Up Your Heels
Kick
production.
up your heels. Kick up your heels entertainment. Katrina Hurts. Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I gotta give her a little shout out because
Yeah.
to her emailing me to making this happen is just a
Mhm.
like almost like a
Yeah.
dream come true for me. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
I'm like I said, I'm in the biggest pond. I'm the smallest fish in the biggest pond, and
Oh man.
for me to have
Man.
you on here is just an amazing thing.
Well, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Good to
Now,
be here.
I mean, you've worked '90s hip hop,
Mhm,
Latin,
mhm,
gospel. Like,
mhm.
how did you get into music? We're definitely gonna talk about the song in a little bit,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
let's bring you up a little bit. Let's let the people know about you, Kenny.
yeah, yeah. Music, it was a part of my fabric. I wouldn't hesitate to say that music was a part of me in my mother's womb. My father was a musician. He played keyboards and a bunch of other instruments. But for me,
Mhm.
I just took it and ran with it. I mean, I can't ever remember music not being in my life. Music is
Right.
so very important to me. That's my muse. That's my peace. If when I'm not having a good day, I can come do some music and everything is cool. Sometimes I get lost in it, but man, music has been a part of my life for as long as I can remember. And I mean, way back to I was like 5 years old. Man, it's just been a part of my thing. Everybody knows me. Everybody knows that I love music,
Mhm.
and it'll
Sounds
it'll be that way.
like my one of my closest friends. He's a musician,
Hmm.
and he's got his own podcast too for
Yeah,
music only.
yeah,
I'm a little bit of everything,
yeah.
just including hats. People, yes, if you see, we both like hats. We just had this
Yes,
discussion
we
before the
both
show.
like hats.
I did not know he was wearing a Boston hat. I didn't
No,
think I was wearing my Yankee hat.
no,
We love it. We love
love
hats for
hats.
the look.
Love hats
So
for the look.
please,
Love it.
we're not arguing with each other, as you can
No,
see. No,
no, no.
no
All love
rivalry.
here. All
It's all
love
love.
here. All
This was
love.
not. It's kind of funny that I'm wearing the Yankee hat and you're wearing a Boston hat. It was just kind of funny. You know what I mean?
Just flew. And I
It,
normally have it on backwards, but I said, nah,
yeah,
let me put it on.
same thing with me. I usually have it on backwards too.
That's Jersey for you. That's that Jersey thing. We
So,
can't help it, man.
no, so it's kind of funny. Yes, we're before we do any more, just so we know, we're both from New Jersey,
Yeah.
and it's kind of funny. We were not far apart from each other.
No.
I used to live in Rutherford,
Yep.
and my hometown,
I was in Inglewood.
it,
Inglewood. That was my
it,
hometown.
and it's kind of funny that here we are, certain many years later, we're talking, and
Life's
the
funny.
life is very funny because
Yeah.
to be here tonight, and now I live a little further out west.
Hmm.
I wouldn't call it the boondocks, but I live in
Yeah.
Montville Township now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
Quiet.
it's
Qui-
quiet. Yeah, it's
Right. Modest, quiet.
Midas quiet town. But
Absolutely.
I always tend to always go back to the Rutherford
Hmm.
and drive around town to my old high school,
Yep.
drive around just saying, damn,
And
I remember when we used to be
yep.
kids.
And you quickly go back.
You do go back and you do remember. You
Yeah.
remember your first time when you crashed your car. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Not once but
Everywhere.
twice in town.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. That was a little bit of a speedster. But
That's Jersey.
that is Jersey for you. Yes, it
Mhm.
is. Now, you've done music for such a long time.
Mhm.
When you started doing your own thing, did you collaborate with anybody, or was it just you and putting out your music and someone caught heard you, or
Well, for the love of music, I mean, I would probably do music if nobody ever listened. That's
Mhm.
how much I love it. You know,
That's
I
great.
grew up with it in high school. I honed my craft. So many different individuals. You know, you can do tracks and you can
Mhm.
sing. You can do play drums and do all these instruments. It's just something that's just been a part of it. I've done so many different things around Inglewood, from artists that were not even, you know, mainstream.
Mhm.
And again, that goes back to the love of it. You know, I don't necessarily call names out, but yeah, I've been exposed to hip hop. I've been exposed to gospel. Gospel just so happens to be one of my you know, genres of music to kind of hone in on. And of
Mhm.
course, anybody in music know how to mesh gospel and R&B, and that's 90s. That's the 90s
That was the
sound, if
90s,
you
yeah,
will.
it was.
Yeah,
Trust me, I was still to this day, I go back to
yeah,
the 90s
yeah,
sound because
yep,
I feel like the industry, and I'm definitely not dissing the industry. It just feel like it just goes to, there was a story in the 90s, in the early
mhm,
2000s.
mhm,
It doesn't matter if it was hip hop, gospel,
yep,
rock. There was a story to the songs, like
mhm,
totally different
yeah,
then to now. So that's why I always tend to go back
yeah.
to,
That
like you said, to your roots.
it's a roadmap
Yeah.
for people that was, you know, kind of raised in that era. We have to bring the honesty of music back. We have to, as artists, be responsible to bring the honesty of music back.
Mhm.
So it helps create and correct some of the issues that are going on in the world. um for me coming up in the 90s, it kind of gave a roadmap. You have your Teddy Riley, who's responsible for the New Jack Swing. You have
Yep.
Rodney Jerkins. You know, Teddy Riley's kind of, you know, main guy in that era, and pushing, and Bernard Bells, and, you know, so on and so forth. So many eras, so many things. And you get turned on to jazz. You know, you get turned on to Inglewood is a heavy in jazz.
Yes, it was.
um Latin wasn't as popular, but I was turned on to Latin in calypso music from a steel drum band I used to play with in high school, right?
Okay.
So all of those things kind of put in together and kind of created just such a other sound, another sound,
Mhm.
still creative. And if you know, if you was born in the 90s
Oh
and you listen
yeah.
to that genre of music, you couldn't be the same. You couldn't be like anybody because
No,
they would
definitely
talk
not.
trash about you. You had to be different, you know,
Mhm.
much different like today where everybody sounds kind of similar. You had to find a niche and find something, you know, that you can speak through and speak through successfully. And for me, I couldn't be like anybody else because they would talk trash about you. So, you know, it gave you a level of level headedness. Like, you got to find another sound, bro. So,
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, if when you talk about it, like I was, and I'll date myself now. I was born in '79, so
mm-hmm,
growing up in
mm-hmm,
the '80s and the '90s, the
mm-hmm,
music,
mm-hmm,
the '80s was definitely, I would say, a huge influence on me into getting into the '90s, and then
mm-hmm.
like midway through the 2000s, say after, I feel like 2008, that's when I started not listening as much. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like I felt
yeah,
like the storytelling ended.
mm-hmm,
When you look at some of the major hip hop artists, Puff Daddy, aka P Diddy, aka
mm-hmm,
Sean Combs,
mm-hmm.
he's
Yeah,
he's got a story, especially with Notorious B.I.G.,
yeah,
Dr. Dre. I mean, NWA, Easy E,
yeah.
Tupac. Some of these influences of
All influencers, all of the names was influencers,
influencers,
every one of them.
and then when you think about, when you hear the music, and I'll say, with Dr. Dre's "Ain't Nothing But a G" thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you remember, even in the movie, you hear the sound, and you're like,
Yeah.
when you think about it, you got to go back to the 60s and 70s,
Yes.
Harlem and Funkadelic,
Yeah.
George Clinton, all these old school, and I
Yeah.
call it old school, old G's.
Oh, geez.
You know,
They were the influences. They were the ones that kind of made the sound.
yeah,
It's
and
different today.
it's totally different, and that's what I love about your song, though.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, there's a message there, and especially for empowering the women of
Mhm.
now.
Right.
Growing up, it's always the man did everything. And listen, I'm not degrading us men at all.
Right. Absolutely not.
But
Right.
the key is it's Women's International Day. It's
Mhm.
about
Mm.
your wife, your
That's right.
sister, your
Mhm.
girlfriend, your lover. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter. It's
Right.
empowering these lovely women, our
Mhm.
mothers too. You know what I mean?
Mothers. That's right.
It's about everything. My wife, God bless her soul, upstairs right now,
Right.
as she's with
Right.
my two kids, how much she does.
Mm.
And I don't know, sometimes she realizes how much I do appreciate it because she puts in
Right.
a lot of time with the kids. She'll
Mhm.
work 7 to 4, I work 7 to 5,
Mhm.
and she puts in a lot of time with the kids where I'm working, I come home exhausted, I'm doing this, I'm
Mhm.
doing things, but the thing is I have their support,
Yeah.
just like you have your support system, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. It is. The song, in my estimation, kind of can fit so many different ways.
Mhm.
With girls and little girls coming up, it's good to kind of implant in them, goodness and positivity at the
Yeah.
very beginning. That's going to keep that drive going to make sure that no one on the outside of them can come in their lives and infiltrate the positive energy that's been placed in them. We have to be responsible as artists to make sure when we put music out that it has that sort of vibe to it, right?
Mhm.
Women in so many different shapes of form are responsible for populating the earth.
Yeah.
Now, if that in itself is it something to be honored about, I don't know what. They are responsible. They need to be encouraged, just like men. And I'm going to make this known. I didn't really say this earlier. It's important that we be agents of change in any sex,
Mhm.
any genre, whether you're a man or woman, girl or boy, whatever it is. We are responsible, man. I have to be able to encourage you.
Yeah.
I have to keep telling you, man, keep going, keep doing your thing, keep your podcast going, man.
I
Encourage you
appreciate that,
and
man.
and get on your podcast and support it. Just like you're supporting the song,
Mhm.
I'm going to support you. That's how we kind of
Yeah.
transition into paying it forward and make sure we keep positive energy going.
And
So
that's one thing
yeah,
I'm installing into my daughter.
yeah.
My I have a 7-year-old little girl, and I
Mm-hmm.
have a 3.5-year-old young man. Now
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
he thinks he's a man already, and he's gonna learn. He's gonna be learning those tributes soon.
Yeah.
But like my 7-year-old man, I love her to death. She's my firstborn.
Mm-hmm.
She's my everything, just like my son and my wife. And
Mm-hmm.
the one thing I keep telling her, she loves to dance.
Yeah.
She is a dancer. So at first I was all about sports. You know what I mean? I
Mm-hmm.
again I grew up never having a brother, never
Right.
having a sister, so I
Right.
don't know. And it took me a little time. I'm that stubborn father.
Right.
Sports was everything. If you see in the background, I got hanging
Yeah, yeah, I see it.
memorabilia, just like you got your music, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I got it.
And I asked her, hey, try T-ball.
Mhm.
And she remember when T-ball season ended. This actually put a little tear in my eye. She said, Daddy, I don't like T-ball.
Ah,
I said, Isabella, I love you so much in this positive way that you actually said that to
oh,
me. You have so now gained
oh,
so
wow.
much respect
Wow.
for just
Look at that.
telling me that you didn't like it.
Mm,
And you know what? Do you love the dance? She actually said, Daddy, I love it.
wow.
And then this time last year, she got the invitation to try out for the dance team.
Mhm.
That's a huge accomplishment. She was
It
only
is.
doing it for 1 year,
Mm.
and she's on the team this
See?
year.
And she
And
loves it.
I keep pushing her. And the thing is, I gotta remind her, listen, no matter what, win or lose,
Mhm.
I'm very proud of you.
Yeah, they wanna
And
hear it.
and the thing is, I was always on a losing team growing up.
Mhm.
Until I got onto that winning team,
Mhm.
and I never looked back.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And then you do lose sight sometimes.
Mhm.
You lose that sight. You forgot how hard you were on that floor for such a long time,
That's
and
right.
you clawed your way back up, just like you with your music, me
Mhm.
with the show. You claw, you
That's
inch.
right. Push.
Al
Push.
Pacino says it the best in any given Sunday.
Mhm.
Who's gonna crawl for that 1 inch?
That's right.
1 minute too slow, 1 minute too fast.
Mhm.
It's who's gonna be there to crawl next to you for that one little inch.
That's right.
Life is a game of inches these
It
days.
is. It is.
And that's
Absolutely.
and I hate to, you know, quote Al Pacino, but he's one of my favorite characters.
It's the truth. It's the
It's the
truth. I
truth.
mean,
I mean,
you can't deny it.
you cannot deny that fact. And I said to her, you don't have to be perfect for me.
Mm,
Be perfect for you.
right.
I am proud of who you are.
That's right.
And that's something that I've noticed, and I'm not saying every child's like that, but
Right.
I'm saying I've noticed that the parenting is different from when we were kids
Yeah.
to now. You know what I mean? Listen, we used to get into
Yeah.
one thing I've
Yeah.
learned, I growing up, instead of going to be a tattletale, hey, I'll meet you in the corner at 3
Yeah.
and we're gonna handle it,
Yeah.
fist to fist. But you can't do that now because now everyone has lawyers. I
Yeah.
don't, but
Yeah. You can't do
you can't do it. It's
it.
like I want to show her, but I also tell her, let's be a happy family.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And you as a father too can
Hmm.
really
Yep.
can actually testify to that because I believe
Yep.
you have a daughter too, if I remember correctly.
I got two daughters. I
Okay,
got a
two daughters.
son and a grandson. To be honest, so
Okay.
it is. It's a different thing to raise children these days. My
Mhm.
kids are kind of older. My youngest daughter, is about to be 21 in college. So it's.
Congratulations
Thank
that
you.
she's getting
Yeah.
and something to say is she's at college at 21.
At 21.
Congratulations on that, man,
Yep.
because that's a
Yep.
huge accomplishment.
Yeah, it's huge. I didn't take that chance on. I was engrossed in music, but she is pushing, the envelope into making sure she becomes as best as she could. Always encouraging her. My style of parenting is I'm going to help you get there, but as I heard someone say, you got to have some skin in the game. So you're
Mm-hmm.
going to have to get dirty a little bit. You're going to
Mm-hmm.
have to push. So don't let me be so much of an encourager to you that your progress is because I'm encouraging you.
Right.
Right? Sometimes you have to be an encourager to yourself. Sometimes you have to push yourself. You have some skin in the game. Do something that's going to kind of push you to where you want to be. You want to be it, you may have to spend some money. You're going to have to spend some time. I'm going to be here in support of you. I'm not going to let you fall, but I'm not going to be, that much of an encourager where you just take your eyes off of, your own ability and worry
Mm-hmm.
about what daddy is saying. It's a task, but I think it's a responsibility of any parent to make sure that they can push their child as far as they could go. I didn't grow
Yeah.
up like that. We was just put in there and that was it. You figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, my parents came from two different countries when,
Mm.
I was the first born in the family here in New
Wow.
Jersey.
Wow.
My mom was from Cuba, my dad was from Peru.
Wow.
So I was the first American born in this family.
Wow.
And so there's responsibilities, but also,
Yeah.
my mom is very smart, very book smart.
Mhm.
My dad's street smart.
Ah, great combinations.
Great combination. The problem is I'm more street than I am book. I
Well,
will,
I say see street common sense, man. Book,
yeah.
I don't know, but
I listen, my mom, she loved the books. She could do it. I couldn't. I had
right,
problems
right,
growing up. College was not meant for me, unfortunately.
right.
I did
I
not.
agree.
I went to community college. I got an associate's in business, but it was not meant for me. If I wasn't playing football at that time,
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
couldn't do it.
yeah, I agree. I was so music was on my mind
Yeah,
constantly.
sports
It
was on my mind too. That was a
Yeah.
problem. Sports and money
Academics,
making. Yeah. I,
mm-mm. Nah. I
I
kind of got a knack for it as time went on, as experience and maturity
yes.
came. But as far as high school is concerned, I could care less about anything to do with anything academic. It was all music for me.
It was all football for me. I'm going somewhere big
Yeah.
and the one thing I became a coach after I
Okay.
graduated high school.
Yeah.
I ended up hurting my knee,
Mhm.
didn't go anywhere, went to community college. I actually volunteered my first year as an assistant coach.
Mhm.
Just to kind of still be with the team, kind of
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
don't
you
know.
miss it.
I missed it, you know what I mean? But now to coach it and when an opportunity is to coach a freshman team.
Mm.
And the funny thing is, I'm like, I gotta flip the script a little bit.
Mm.
Tell them my faults so these kids don't do it.
Yeah.
And I went to a
Yeah.
Catholic high school.
Okay.
I went through a Catholic school from kindergarten all the way to high school. So no, guys, there were no nuns at that point. There were actual real teachers.
I
There were
understand.
no nuns. But the funny thing is, like, I told the kids, I said, listen, first thing, the love of your parents.
Yeah.
Number one is your parents. Number two,
Mhm.
God,
Yep.
Jesus. All right.
Yep.
Three is
That's right.
schoolwork.
That's right.
All right. Four, well, actually, well, family was number one, I said, but
Yeah,
four,
yeah, yeah.
four, it's any sports activity. But
Mhm.
that fifth thing, you have to figure out on your own
Got to. You got to.
because you're gonna, and I said, by the end of your senior year, you're gonna
Mhm.
know who you are.
That's right.
And I realized I was better as a teacher and a coach and a mentor than I was a player.
Wow.
And
That's good.
to see the kids that I coached to go into varsity and see them hearing that they're getting great grades
Mhm.
and to knowing that that was part of my establishment for them and I wish I did it for me.
Mhm.
It was a wonderful thing to hear that they were going to Michigan State, Michigan,
Mm.
Iona College,
Mm.
schools like I can only dream of, you know what I mean, that
Mhm.
these kids
Mhm.
got in and almost I want to say probably I think 80% of them got full rides.
Well, that's really good. See
Not just
that's your
academically,
that's
but
that's your niche.
academically and in football, you know what I mean? And I was a coach for a few years.
Mhm.
I got to see what's kind of funny. And if you ever heard, I got to see Victor Cruz play in high
Yep.
school level
Wow.
at Patterson Catholic.
Wow.
The
I used to
year,
live in Patterson.
oh,
Whew.
all right. So I went to
Mhm.
St. Mary's in Rutherford.
Wow. St. Mary's. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Y'all were some big guys in St. Mary's.
Yeah.
Y'all
Trust me,
were
I know.
big guys.
I was one of the I was one of the hogs in there.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So for me, um, Coach Sheridan at that point, he's still around, he's no longer
Yeah.
coaching, but what's kind of funny, my junior year, our running back, Paulie Johnson, now is the new head coach at St. Mary's, and he's turning that program around.
See, it's evolution. It
Yeah,
evolves and it keeps
it
going
does.
around and around and around. And that's really good, man. The motivation and the thing that you have for those kids is definitely going to be something. So that life and that thing
Yeah.
you chose helped those kids out.
And my wife, and that's something I want to, as much as I'm bringing up myself and
Yeah,
us,
yeah,
but it's really
yeah.
about the women. And I'll tell you, my wife she's an educator, and I've
Right.
learned a lot from my wife more than
Mm,
I've ever have.
mm,
Matter of fact, even the other night, I had a nice young lady. She came on my show, and I
mm.
gotta tell you, I learned a lot more about our ecosystem than I ever known since high school.
Yeah.
I was actually like, holy shit.
Right.
Yes, you can drop the bombs in this show, so don't worry. It does slip, but that's the best way I could describe it. Like
Right.
she was so knowledgeable. She worked in the city. She was an
Mhm,
investment banker.
mhm,
She got burnt out,
mm,
and she just started traveling more and more around the world, man.
mm.
And dude, big props for her to do that because
Yeah.
it's you gotta know when enough's enough too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's the thing. And when I look at my wife, there's days when as a special needs teacher,
Mhm,
she's gone through a lot. I've seen her
mm.
where the
I've
kid
been there.
bit her, and I'm like,
I
yeah,
I've been there in so
done.
many different ways. My wife was a teacher for over 20 years.
Yeah,
She, taught kids with autism.
yep,
She was a special education teacher from New Jersey to the South, and she was just driving that. She loved teaching kids with learning
that's what
disabilities,
it is. Yep,
and she come home many days just like burnt completely out, but still couldn't stop because she had a passion for it.
yeah,
You have a passion for kids.
yeah, I do.
Women have it's just motivating. It's just making people better. Those things are what we need in the world.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So you and your coaching, your wife as a teacher in education, me putting songs out that's talking about motivation, my wife and God rest her soul and
yes,
being responsible for helping kids and getting over their learning disabilities. All of these things is kind of like exactly what I was trying to get to in the song.
and you do.
Me as an artist, I have to make sure that I put that in the atmosphere. You as a coach, your wife as a teacher, my wife as a teacher. That's what we have to be responsible for. So this song is just what that is. and just honoring women for all of the hard work that they do,
Yeah.
empowering women, and just saying, yo, the men got your back.
Oh,
The
without a
real
doubt.
the real ones got your back. We gonna appreciate you. We gonna push y'all and just keep rocking. Do what it is y'all are here to do. They're created to help.
Yes.
They're created to be what they are, and it's
Nurturing.
awesome that I can just kind of put this song in the airways for everybody to hear and love.
Oh, without a doubt. And I'm excited to,
Dope.
when I heard it, I was just like, damn. I didn't even know I didn't even look at the profile. I just went right to
Yeah.
the song. It
Yeah.
just said, what a message you had.
Yeah.
The
I appreciate
lyrics,
it.
everything. Again, music doesn't happen in a day. I know
Right.
that. You know what I mean?
Right.
This took some time, and I could tell because the message you're sending out about the women having the power to, the
Mm-hmm.
lyrics so deep, so powerful, and so meaningful, and
Mm-hmm.
the music, the
Mm-hmm.
harmonies, everything. I could tell that took some time to
Mm-hmm.
get it down.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's something, and for me to you, deeply, I am sorry about your wife, and
Yes, I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
rest in peace and God rest her. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
She's now looking down at you and me talking about
Right.
this, and we're making her proud. And
Yeah.
we're making everybody proud because
Absolutely. Yep.
the thing is, people forget how much women do for
Yeah.
not just men,
That's right.
everybody.
Everybody.
Sometimes you
Everybody.
lose focus. Hey, listen, you could have a bad day at work. You forget.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I mean I'm as guilty as any other guy.
That's
You
right.
come home, hey, what's up, kiss? You forgot, hey, how was your day?
Yeah. But they
These
still push. They still got to go, even though they
Yeah,
have a headache, even though they don't feel like cooking, even though they don't feel like dealing with the kids.
yeah.
But
My wife
they still
is
do it.
she is the strongest, one of the strongest women I've ever met.
Right.
Besides my mom's and her
Yeah.
mom's,
Yeah.
and I'll say that, man. And and even my dad and her father are very. My father's been gone for a while. God rest his soul too. And
Yeah. That was.
he's the one who showed me, I guess, who I should be, and more of a hands-on type of
Mm-hmm.
guy. You know what I mean? Like that's where I learned a lot was
Yeah.
from my father more than I did from a book.
Right.
My dad showed me how to hustle.
Mm.
When it came to how to make a
Mm-hmm.
dollar.
Yeah.
As 50 cent or anybody who say, how do I make a dollar out of 15 cent?
That's 15 cents. You make it.
You're making it. You know what I mean? Like I always tell people, I go, you can send me on the world with $1, I'm coming back with 100.
Let's get it. Let's
They're
work.
like, how the hell do you do? I go, it's called hustling.
Let's go hustling. You gotta
It, and we're not talking hustling drugs on the corner. I'm talking about earning the dollar.
earn it. Yeah.
You do
Yeah.
the odd jobs. Listen, if I got to clean toilets at a Burger King, I'm doing it.
You got to do it. You got to do it.
And people don't realize that. Now I'm realizing that the times have changed where hustling is not the way we did
Mm-hmm.
in the 80s and 90s, where it
Mm-hmm.
was you hustled the job, you did the work,
Mm-hmm.
you had to go to the other job, get it done.
Mm-hmm.
I was, listen, my parents, my family worked their butts off to get me to Rutherford.
Wow.
You know what I mean? You're talking about coming from another country, not learning the English language right away.
Mm-hmm.
They were young kids, and my mom and my dad and my uncle, my grandmother, my grandfather, they did everything they could
Mm.
to make sure there was three squares on the plate,
That's right.
on the
That's right.
table, making sure there's clothes on me and
That's
them,
right.
making sure there's security.
That's right.
And I give that a lot of props to my moms too and my grandma.
Mm. Yeah.
Like my wife, I feel like is the patriarch of the whole family.
Mm.
My wife takes care of her father and her mother,
Wow.
and she takes care of me. She takes care of the kids. She takes care of my mom's. She's like, the center.
Mm.
For me, if I ever lost that, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I'll be lost as hell, and that's
It's
why
certainly a process.
it is a process, and that's why
Yeah.
to empower you with the responsibilities too when
Mm.
your wife passed on. And this is where, I'm a fun-loving guy, but also there's reality to this.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
from me to you, man, I got to give you the props too, bro,
Oh, thank you. I
because
appreciate it.
I know some people don't realize that.
Yeah.
I'm a
Yeah.
father of two, and you're a father of three and a
Mm-hmm.
grandson. So
Mm-hmm.
to be honest, you got four kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're doing, and that's something I look up to,
Mm-hmm.
like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the presence of a true legit man
Yeah.
right there. But
No, I
also,
appreciate it.
you did the woman's thing too, because
Yep.
when your wife passed on, you had to be the mother and
Yep.
father. And it's not easy being a single parent. I actually seen
No.
it. I've seen it with a couple of
No.
people who I know, and
Mm.
that's something it struggles sometimes, and I could tell.
Yeah, I'll
And
tell you this. What's important
mhm,
in that whole scenario is really getting to a place where you have peace.
yes,
Have to get there. Take the time that's necessary, because if you do not take the time, time will take you.
hmm
You have to take time and get healed. If you do not get healed during that whole process, you're not going to do anything to whoever is going to be next. You have
right,
to make sure that if you have to deal with that issue, that you deal with it face on, you don't hide from it, because it will definitely catch up to you. My mother raised me in such a way where she didn't give me everything that I wanted. She
hmm
kind of made me work for it. She wasn't going to be there hand and
yeah,
foot. I didn't have a silver spoon in my mouth. I didn't grow up like that at all.
same here.
I had to work for whatever I wanted, and I can appreciate now that now. I didn't
Mm.
appreciate it then, but I can appreciate it now because it kind of contributed to the person that I am, and it kind of contributes to what I instill in my kids going forward.
And that's
Um,
something what I'm trying to do with my kids. I mean,
yeah.
I, when my parents came from nothing
hmm
to renting an apartment to where I was born, you know what I mean, and to go to a condo kind of house in Passaic almost, you know what I mean?
wow. Yeah.
To going to Clifton to renting a house for a year. And
Mm.
then they finally bought their first house in Rutherford.
Wow.
Oh, rented a house in Rutherford, then we bought the house in Rutherford. So to see that, and then me getting married and having a good house, a good stability right off the bat, it's a project of them.
Mm.
And technically finding a very good woman on top of it
hmm
makes it
hmm
even better. You know what I mean? Like
And let's be clear, it ain't easy to do that in Bergen County. Just let's be clear.
Bergen County, I'll tell you, I
Let's
live in
be
Morris
clear.
County now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I've worked in Bergen County. I lived in Bergen County. I, you know, listen, I was raised in Passaic for 8 years,
Yeah.
and then I moved to Clifton for a year, and then I was in Rutherford for the rest. Rutherford to me is my hometown now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
After
Yeah.
20 some odd years living there,
Yeah.
that to me, Rutherford's home. You
Right.
know what I mean? I say I dwelled in Passaic and Clifton for my
Yeah.
first 9 years of
Mhm.
life, and then the rest was Rutherford.
Yeah. Yeah.
But for me, like you said, my mother didn't give me was not a silver spoon. Neither was
Nope.
my dad.
Yep.
You want something, you earn it, you work for it, you
Work
claw
for it.
for it.
Absolutely.
And that's something I'm trying to teach my daughter and my son now, even though they're still young.
hmm
I get it. The spoiling age is it's almost done. Well, at least for
Yeah.
her. But she's starting to realize like you're not gonna get everything.
yeah.
As much as I we work, even my wife, we will work hard to make sure
hmm
she gets everything she wants.
hmm
When it comes to the holidays,
Yep.
birthdays.
hmm
I've gone out the night before Christmas to find things.
You know it. You know the grind of a daddy, man. It's
Yeah,
just what it is. That's
it
what you
is.
got to
And
do.
I'll do anything to make sure she's healthy, happy, and clothed and getting what she needs, just like you're doing.
That's right.
You're now, you got your youngest daughter at 21 going to college, which is a huge accomplishment.
Yep. hmm
You know what I mean? That's
Yep.
huge because
Thank.
I tell my daughter, I go, grades are the first thing I need you to do.
Yep.
I go, listen, if you succeed dancing for the rest of your life, I will support you till the day I
Absolutely.
die.
Absolutely.
And if dance is it, that's it. I'm gonna be there. I'll be there for
yeah.
every show. I'm gonna try to make every show.
That's right.
And my son, I'll tell you this: either he's gonna be one hell of a middle linebacker or running back, or he's the next Rock on WWE because I can't determine what he's gonna be yet.
No, you won't.
he
Guys are a little different, man.
no,
The
I'll tell you
girls.
this. He's watched some football games and I see him and he stands like a middle linebacker
Mhm.
and he runs into the couch like a middle linebacker. Then I see him take the ball looking like Saquon Barkley,
Wow.
or a little bit better. But then, dude, he'll pull off WWE moves that I haven't seen since the '80s, and
Wow.
he's never watched any of those.
He's a boy. He's a
He,
boy.
dude, he. There's some parts where he looks like Jimmy Fly's Snuka.
It's like,
He'll
yeah,
he'll be on top of the couch. He's doing this with his like this, and he's jumping. I'm like, oh my god.
yeah.
There's days I felt like he does the leg drop like Hulk Hogan. Somehow
That's funny.
he does the people's elbow like The Rock pretty good. So
That's funny.
he's got a plethora of choices.
Right.
But the one thing I did say to, even though my son's young, the one thing I did tell my daughter, don't be like dad.
That's right. I always say that. Be better than me.
Be better than me. Don't
A
work as
whole lot
hard as
better than
me.
me. Absolutely. That's
That's the
very true.
one thing. My wife's a teacher and she spends a lot of time in the summer and I lose a lot of
Mm,
that time.
mhm.
I work from 7 to 5 and I don't regret it.
Right.
I'll just make that clear. I don't regret what I do.
Right.
I do regret sometimes not being always there during the
Mhm.
day
Yeah.
when they're all having fun, their smiles,
Mhm.
and I'm like at work going, God is hot. And but then when I see their smiles on the phone and pictures,
Mhm.
like, okay, it's worth it. You know,
Mhm.
when I get my
That's right.
vacation in the summer, and I take
Mhm.
those 10 days and I'm like, oh, this is so worth it.
It's so good. It's so
It
good.
and
Well,
and and I gotta say, if it wasn't for my wife, none of it would be happening, and that's the truth.
absolutely.
And that's again why we keep saying the wives, the moms, the daughters, they're
Yeah.
important.
They're very important. They're
And
very important.
and that's the funny thing. And like you said earlier, it feels like as we're in 2024, it doesn't matter if they're together as a family or they're separated, they're
Mhm.
divorced. If you are able to co-parent
Mhm.
a child through a divorce, man, more
That's
power
right.
to you.
Work it. Work it.
Work it. And listen,
It's,
even if you hate each other,
that's right.
it's not about you two, it's about the
That's right.
child.
It's about the kids. That's right.
And that's something I've seen. I mean,
Mhm.
not me, thank God,
Right.
but I keep counting my chickens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, but I, like I said, the music speaks for itself,
Yeah.
Kenny, and that's
Appreciate it.
something we are celebrating this today. You know what I mean?
That's
It's a
right.
huge day for women, and
Women empowerment, man.
it,
That's what it's
it's
gonna be.
that's what it is. And listen, I'm ready to have. If I'm not a politician, I don't like
Right.
politics.
Right.
But if there's the day that we're ready for a female president, more power to
Look,
it.
I'm ready for it. We have to be such supporters of
Yeah,
goodness and greatness. I don't care if it's Christmas, celebrate Christmas every day.
yeah.
Celebrate Thanksgiving every day. Celebrate the resurrection of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ
Mhm.
every day. Celebrate women every day. Celebrate the love of celebrate our guys every day. So don't wait till a particular day to do anything.
Nope.
Every day of this journey we call life, we have to enjoy it and celebrate it, love it, and do what it is you are called to do on this earth. Love everybody. I don't care what everybody's thing is. I ain't none of my business. Whatever
Mhm.
life you choose to live it, enjoy it.
Yep.
I'm gonna mind my business and stay in my lane and do what I do and love what I do. And that's just what it is for me. I think everybody has to take a book from a page from that book.
Without a doubt, and that's something I've taken
Hmm.
as in recent years, like
Yeah.
having my own thing, doing my own
Hmm.
thing,
Yeah.
but also respecting
Yeah.
everybody else's thing. It
That's
doesn't
right.
matter. Listen, I'll say this: it doesn't matter if you're Hispanic,
Nope.
black, white,
Nope.
Chinese, Korean. It don't
I
matter.
don't care.
We're all under
That's
the
right.
same place.
That's
We
right.
all work as hard as we all can, man.
That's
It's the
right.
respect factor.
That's right.
It's kind of funny. My wife and my daughter actually asked, why do I say I love you every day
Mhm.
before I go to bed, before I hang up the phone?
Mhm.
Because you just don't know when
Don't know.
it's your time,
That's a fact. That is
you
a
know?
fact.
And when I lost my dad,
Mhm.
that was something I didn't grow up, like I said, I told you, I didn't have any brothers or sisters.
Right.
My dad was my best friend, my brother, and my dad
Wow.
rolled up into one.
Wow.
We did a lot of good things together. Like we would go to the movies every Tuesday night when he was off from work. We used to go to Giants games, Rangers games, Devils games, whatever games. It don't matter what kind of game. Yankees
Yeah,
games,
just spending time with pops, man. That's dope.
and then don't get me wrong, I spent time with moms too,
Yeah, 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 for sure.
but those are the things that you remember is spending the time with either one.
Hmm.
But to say I love you is the key. And there was a saying my mom always said to me. She would say, I love you, and she goes, God willing. And the funny thing is, I remember around my teenage years, I think it was when I was 17, I said, why do you keep saying God willing? You know what I mean? And I
Hmm.
didn't, and I went to a Catholic high school, go figure. But I just never thought about it. You know what I
Mm,
mean? And it's sad. She goes, because you just don't know.
don't know.
And that's something she's right.
Yeah,
And I live life 100% to the fullest because if I don't want there to be a regret when I go on.
yeah, yeah. That's
If
dope.
I ever pass on, I don't want any regrets.
That's dope.
And
I'll
the
say
only
this. I'll say this, bro. I love you, bro, and it ain't nothing you can do about it, Steve. For sure, my man.
I
You hear me?
appreciate it. Yeah, I
Yeah,
appreciate that, man.
yeah,
And that's something, everyone goes, "Oh, the Sleepy G show, it's awesome." You know what I mean? Like, listen, I love what I do. The whole
yeah.
concept was because I always wore a cutoff shirt during a lot of my shows.
Relax.
Yeah, that's what
Relax.
it's just what I wanted.
Yeah.
That's what this show is about. Listen, do I love sports? Yes. Do I
Mm-hmm.
love music? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do I support people who are doing awesome things like yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had I had my one of my friends, Angela Bryden Egan. His son's autistic. He has autism. I
Mm-hmm.
had her on the show
Mm-hmm.
because why? She was a friend of mine from high school,
Mm-hmm.
and I never thought of that. So she came on. She talked about it. I had another friend with type 1 diabetes talk
Mm-hmm.
about it and support her because she
Mm-hmm.
does these awesome bike rides.
Mm-hmm.
I also had a friend of mine uh, who I never in a million years knew he had
Mm-hmm.
a problem with drugs. And I found
Wow.
out during the show he did.
Mm-hmm.
I knew somebody who had a bad coke habit
Mm-hmm.
and he was 1 year sober.
Wow.
So there's things that
Yeah.
I'm more about, you know what I mean? Like, and, and I want to embrace and
That's
empower
right.
and show everybody, what we're all about too.
That's right.
And
Change.
it
Agents of
changed.
change. Agents of change.
And
Agents of making things work better.
yep. And that's
Yep.
something you're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I
Your
mean? And
woman
that's,
was born out of that thought process. We have to be. I don't care what gift you have, whether it's motivation, whether it's music. I don't care what. I don't care if it's cooking. Cook in a way where it's motivating. You know what I
mhm.
mean?
Oh yeah,
Do your music in a way that it's motivating. Coach in a way that is motivating.
we have to do
Just
things
on
that's
purpose.
motivating. Yeah.
On
And that's
purpose.
something, I so highly respect what you're doing because it's just an amazing thing. Like I said, you've lived the 90s, you
Mm,
live in the music,
hmm.
you are the music, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You produce it, you're writing it,
Hmm.
you collaborate with wonderful artists,
Right.
even unknown artists. You
Right.
collaborate because you give that guy that chance,
That's
that
right.
girl that chance.
Hmm.
You could have sang with somebody could be the next Aaliyah, you know what
Who
I mean?
knows?
Or
You
the
don't
next
know.
Whitney. You
That's
just
right.
don't know, you know what I
That's
mean?
right.
It's just, and that's something, I give you credit, man, because
Yeah.
you
Thank you
don't
so much.
you don't hear guys go, shit, I love music since the 90s, 80s. This is why I love it, and this is why I
Yep.
do it.
Yep.
You're probably one, and I'm gonna say maybe a handful of people that say that.
Wow.
You know what I mean? That I've talked to about music live here. And
Wow.
that and then
That's dope.
that's so dope because I've had hip hop artists, the six up from New Hampshire,
Hmm.
legit great
Hmm.
guys, man.
Hmm.
They're all about the family,
Hmm.
and that's something I
Yeah.
respect. I've had a good rock band in theory, and it has that old school gospel harmony with the
Mm.
piano playing,
Mm.
and that's something I love with the
Yeah.
rock.
Yeah.
Amazing. I have you here today.
Yeah.
It just shows the honor of music. And,
Hmm.
I'm not, I don't have a lot of musical guests, but when I do, I
Hmm.
take advantage of it because it's an
Yeah.
amazing
Dope.
thing.
Dope, man.
You
I
know what I mean?
appreciate it.
And to have you on tonight, man, it's just a true honor, man, as we are celebrating today, March
Yeah.
8th.
That's
Women's
right.
Empowerment Day.
March 8th.
We said that 100 times, but you know what? It's got to be drilled in.
Yeah, it's
But
got to
just
be done.
remember, it's not just this one day.
Mm.
It's every day.
Every day. Every day
We have to
you got
celebrate it.
breath. That's
You
right.
know,
Every day.
matter of fact, when we sign off here, I'm going right out to my wife and just giving her the biggest hug.
Yeah,
Like,
man. That's what I'm talking about.
you know what I mean?
That's
Because
right.
she's
Yeah.
got the kids, and I gotta say thank you for keeping them quiet when I
Thank
do
you.
this. Because I don't have the soundproof room. I have the what I have is whatever's left of the man cave is turning into the
Yeah.
kids cave,
It's slowly dwindling away.
slowly dwindling away. The kids told me I could keep all my Legos and my posters and my
Oh,
pictures and my
okay.
autographs
But
all
everything
over.
else must go.
Yeah, must go. This where I'm at right now. It's kind of
Mhm.
funny. We got new couches down here in the basement for family time,
Right.
and my wife and I said, well, let's move the office downstairs.
Yeah.
So I said, all right, good. We'll put the desk here. We'll share it.
Mm.
Yeah, my stuff gets thrown to the floor. She's taking over everything. So that's
Goes
why
into territory.
I don't argue with her on that note.
No, yeah, you'll
I
lose. You'll
I'll lose. I
lose.
lose 9 times out
You'll
of 10.
lose.
But you know
Absolutely.
what's funny when she goes, I got to apologize. I'm like, you got to what? What was that again? A little louder. So it's just one of those
She
things,
just kind of
man.
gives you an eye like, okay,
Mm.
now don't run out with
Yeah,
it.
yeah, just shut your trap. She'll do that to me.
Yeah.
Man, Kenny, I gotta say, man, I'm excited to have you on
Thank you.
tonight.
Thank you, man.
Today is a huge day for all women and you of the
Yeah.
release of this new single, which I can't
Thank
wait
you.
people to hear it.
Thank you.
Guys, check it out everywhere, please, because this is an amazing, amazing song from a talented, very talented singer, and out of
Thank you.
New Jersey.
Out of New Jersey. Out of New
New
Jersey for sure.
Jersey. So that's
New
something
Jersey.
we gotta get proud of, man. And um,
Yeah.
before we sign off
Yeah.
tonight for the show, let everybody know where they can find you and the music. Besides the new single, where else they can
Yeah.
find your
Y-
your
y-
tunes, man.
You can find me on all digital platforms, have everything that I've been doing for the last couple of years. TikTok is going to be Kenny J. Wilkins, and the number 7. Instagram is going to be Kenny Wilkins. Facebook is going to be Kenny J. Wilkins. And you can check out the website at kennyjmusic.com. And, send me a friend request. I'm a very, very approachable guy. I'm a very chill guy. I ain't on myself like that. I'm a cool, humble dude that just like to have fun. I'm going to laugh. You're going to see jokes there. You're going to see
Yeah,
everything. You're going to have a good time, man. That's all. So
that's
that's
all
me.
that matters, man. That's
Yeah.
awesome. And
Yeah.
okay, you're always welcome to come back on the show.
Thank
You
you,
can always
man. I
hit me up
appreciate it.
saying, "Hey, I got some more good music coming out. I want
Yeah.
to." You're welcome to come here
Thank
anytime,
you.
man.
Thank you.
I
Thank you.
appreciate you. Appreciate the time.
Yeah,
Man, again, I gotta say thank you so much. Again, I know I've
for
said it
sure.
1,000 times, but it's a true honor having you here tonight on the
Thank
show.
you. I
And
appreciate it.
it's an amazing thing. And also, I gotta thank Kick It Up Your Heels Entertainment for
That's right.
making this happen for us
Yeah.
tonight.
Yep.
Hopefully we'll do a little bit more together, and
Yep.
I look forward to the release of the song today on March 8th.
March
And
8th.
women, you are the ones who help us
That's
out
right.
to remember
This
that.
this is for you. This is
This
for
is
you.
totally for you guys.
You.
And the way I end
Yeah.
my show, it's nothing but love, peace, and happiness. Good night, everybody.
Good night.